when God gave him the exact sign he was looking for to prove that he was the selection of the Lord. But watch this. Only non-believers need signs. Signs are for unbelievers. God, believers don't need signs because they already believe. Oh, God, help us right there. But he still didn't believe after he had the sign. And Dr. Carter, that's how some hard-headed saints are. God has given them sign after sign, told them over and over. How many more messages do you need to be preached? How many more points do you need us to give? How many more scriptures do you need us to quote? You got sign after sign after sign, and you still don't believe? He goes the next morning and says, okay, God, you so bad. You really calling me? I sent out another fleece. Let the dew be on the ground, but let the fleece be dry. How amazed must he have been to wake up the next morning and once again, just as he requested, God did it again. Now, I know that there is no way I could be God. Because I'm not that patient. I am not that long-lasting with some people. Come on, if I tell you you're a grown man, if I tell you something and I give you a sign, why do I need to repeat myself and prove? I don't know about y'all. Y'all pray for me. I need deliverance. I understand that. But the truth of the matter, I'm tired of proving myself to people so they can believe that I am who I am. See, that's why I know I couldn't have been God. But God is so patient and long-suffering to usward that even in our insanity, he will still sit there and convince us and talk to us. Even when we don't believe, he still persuades us. Oh, you better know this and believe this, that if you were God, he would have gave up on you a long time ago. You better thank God that God is God, that he has perfect patience, and he is long-suffering to usward, and he deals with you in your insanity. He's been telling you for years to get it together, and you still struggling. What's your problem? But God says, I'll wait until you decide to make a change. Just as the Lord spoke to him, Gideon saw the sign, and finally he got it. Lean on your neighbor and tell him, would you finally get it? Would you finally get it? Get it, just get it now. That God is choosing you, and God is selecting you, and God is appointing you, and God's going to do something great in you and through you. Come on here. Miracles, signs, and wonders are going to happen, and through you, lives are going to be changed and transformed. Can you do me a favor? Help me prophesy to your neighbor and tell them through you, people's lives will be affected. Tell them through you, people's lives will be changed. Tell that person, eyes have not seen and ears have not heard, and neither has it entered the heart of man what God got prepared for you. Tell your neighbor, what's coming is bigger than what's been. Tell them trouble don't last always. Tell them there's greatness on the inside of you. Would you believe it? Would you believe it? Would you believe it? And in spite of your past, your future is brighter than your past. Would you believe it? Would you accept it? Would you take it? It's going to happen because God said so. The Bible says that Gideon finally accepts the call. He accepts what God has been trying to convince him of. And he goes and prepares the army of Israel. Watch this. And the Bible says that he gets 32,000 men. Good God. He gets 32,000 men to go with him to fight this army. Now God said, okay, he's cool. He's preparing, but he didn't get all that I was saying. Amen. And all that I was saying to Gideon, God is saying that I was going to deliver the enemies, the Midianites, into his hands, but he got too many people. And sometimes when God calls us, we think that we need a certain amount of people with us to get the job done. But look at your neighbor and tell them, you got too many people. You got too many people. Oh, come on. You don't need all that entourage. You don't need, come on, you don't need that whole gang. You got, and the problem that some of us do is when we go forth in the call, we gather too many people with us. And we take the wrong one with us. We take the people who really too scared to fight. I told you I'm from Brooklyn. And in Brooklyn, if I'm going to fight, you better be willing to fight with me. Y'all ain't saying nothing. Even if you are a girl, pray for me, y'all. You better be willing to fight. Get your Vaseline, take your earrings off. But you better be willing to fight. If you call yourself my friend, you better be willing to go with me. But there were some people that when it's time to fight, I did not call. Because they like to talk about fights. They didn't like to be in fights. Oh, God, help us. And there are some people around you, they like to do a whole lot of talking. But when it comes down to the nitty-gritty, and put your hand, y'all ain't saying nothing, to the wheel, then you can't find them nowhere. And don't, whatever you do, y'all pray for me because I need deliverance. But if anybody showed up to my fight and did not help me fight, when I finish whooping my enemy, oh, we gonna get it on too. Y'all remember, ain't nothing between us but space and opportunity. Come on, and listen, you didn't help me, so therefore your unalliance with me has been an alliance with my enemy. Your lack of participation has made you my adversary. Either you say yes or you say no, but whatever you do, don't just stand there. Do nothing. Get in! 32,000 people. All right. Gideon, I need you to examine who you got with you. Here is y'all. Bible says that he went to them and said, every one of you that's scared and afraid. You're nervous. You feel pushed and compelled. But you really don't want to be here. You all are dismissed. My God. The Bible says, Jesus help us. 12,000 gets up and leave. Now, wait a minute. This is half of everybody I got. Can you imagine if we put that survey in the church and said, I need everybody who really don't believe, everybody who really don't have faith and walk in fear, be honest, and just get up and be disciplined. Could you imagine if half the church cleared out? Well, we would, come on, you've been dancing and praising in church all year, for all these years, and now you walking, you leaving, you out of here, my God. Could you imagine that who you have with you don't really believe like you believe and don't trust like you trust? Can you imagine that the folks that you used to rely on really don't believe God like you believe God? How do you know, Dr. Shaw? Because whenever you tell them about a progression you're making and a move you're making in God, how they talk or how they celebrate will tell you whether they believe like you do. If you don't celebrate you don't believe like I do. If you don't tell me go ahead and go forth in God, you don't trust God like I do. I need some people who's going to be here because they're not scared. Look at your neighbor and say, are you scared? Watch this. 10,000 people are left. Bible says, and Gideon is out looking around. Now, this is the same man who didn't believe in the first place that God had called him. Now God done reduced his army. Oh, Lord. Because he felt good that he had 22,000. We can do this with 22,000. My God, you done sent 12,000 home. I got 10,000. Okay, maybe we got to fight a chance. Maybe it'll be a tie. And it's crazy how we measure God's miracle by who's with us. It's amazing how we measure God's provision by how much we have. God never needed people to get something done. God never needed your bank account to get a miracle in your life. Why then do you think that he needs your money now? Watch this. Get in, take the 10,000. the water and let them drink the water. Those that lap like dogs, separate them. Those that get down on their knee and pull the water up with their hand, separate them. And them dog lappers, send them home. Them that get on the knee and do it with their hand, he says separate them and take them with God. Whoa, hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 200, 300. God, this is only 300 people. You sent home another 9,700 people. We started with 22,000. You sent home 12 and now sent home another 9,700. Can you imagine? God, I'm supposed to defeat the enemy with 300 people. I'm here to tell somebody, and I'm closing, that if you think that what's getting ready to happen in your life is going to be done by your own strength, you're sadly mistaken. If you think it's going to be by the resources you got, you're sadly mistaken. But grab somebody by the hand and shake it like you're going to shake it off and say, neighbor, the next miracle getting ready to happen in your life. God don't need your money. God don't need your supervisor. God don't need your manager. God doesn't need your education. He's going to do it without your cooperation. The real miracle is that you don't have enough and you still won't get it. The real miracle is that there is not enough here to get it done. So if the Lord do it, then it won't be done. Slap somebody high five and say, it's going to happen and I don't even have enough. I'm going to get a miracle and I don't even have enough because it's not what I got, it's who he is. And the Bible says that they went down the hills, down to the battlefields, and they fought the Midianites, and they whipped every one of them. Lean on your neighbor's shoulder and say, neighbor, you're going to whip every one of your enemies, and your bank account is low. You're going to whip every one of your enemies, and everybody's not with you. But tell them, neighbor, if God before you, he's more than the whole world that is against you. You found you the wrong neighbor. But turn to somebody and say, neighbor, I'm not to leave you alone, but I want to tell you one thing. What God's about to do for you, he don't need your money. You won't get the house and you don't have enough money. You won't buy the car and your credit report is jacked up. Your children are going to college and they fail in junior high school because God don't need you. He's going to bring it to pass even without you. High five 3 people.